schools. And we only have 2 items on the agenda tonight. And the first one that I will welcome Gail Gilman. She is the Director of Strategic Planning and Board Leadership for the Minnesota School Boards Association. And she has a presentation for us tonight. I will turn it over to Superintendent Evenson and Gail.
Good evening, Chair Polly, members of the board. Hi, Gail.
Hi.
We have been talking for the last year about our strategic plan, and it actually runs through 2021. And we felt that it would be really helpful to have some good support as we develop and update Jordan Public Schools strategic plan. Chair Polly and myself met with Gail Gilman, about a month ago, to talk about some of the services that MSBA offers. I know other districts have worked with MSBA and found their process to be extremely inclusive of community and staff and student feedback, and that just felt like how we do things in Jordan. And so we felt like it would be helpful to have her come and talk to all of you this evening about what that process looks like, the timelines for those processes, and what we could expect should we go with MSBA as a consultant to support our strategic plan development. So I'll turn it over to Gail. Welcome, Gail.
Thank you, Superintendent Evenson and Chair Polly and members of the board. I'm happy to be here with you this evening. I just want to do a quick check. I know I'm getting some interference, but I can hear you okay. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Good. Well, okay, great. That's good. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you the strategic planning process that Minnesota School Boards Association uses. And also I want to take this opportunity to thank you as a Board of Education for being a part of our association as well. We certainly value your membership and have appreciated your chair, Deb Pauley, serving as a member of our Board of Directors and our most recent past chair as well. Well, some updates and an overview of the strategic planning process. First of all, we are no strangers to strategic planning. We have been doing strategic planning since 2015, and I think we are on about 95 right now that we have completed. We're at the point now where we're actually doing some refresh with some strategic plans that we did 5 years ago. One of the key reasons that you have a strategic plan, or why you want to have a strategic plan, is that it is certainly a requirement under Minnesota statute. And then in our board governance model, we talk about the role of having a strategic plan, that it really sets the tone as your visionary roadmap for the work that you do and the decisions that you make. The process that we use, as your superintendent mentioned, is very transparent and it's very inclusive. Include in the sense that we do include all of your stakeholders. So part of our process would include student representation, staff, both licensed and non-licensed, your administrative team, you as a board, because this is your strategic plan, so you as a board and superintendent team, and then also community members. And as we move through the process, we would start with surveys, one for internal stakeholders and another one for external stakeholders. And those questions, we have a template that we use, but those questions would then be tailored to your school district. After the surveys have been out in the school district for about 3 to 4 weeks, we would meet and have listening sessions where each of those stakeholder groups would come together, and I would facilitate the listening session, learning a little bit more about the good things that are happening in your school district, which I know there are a lot of, and then also opportunities of things that could be included in the next strategic plan. Once we've gathered information, then we transition into 3 strategic planning committee meetings, and the board would be highly encouraged to participate in all of those. The rest of the strategic planning committee would be advisory to you as board members. So you'd link elbows as a team, as a committee, in actually developing each of the elements of the strategic plan. And the elements would include the setting the focus areas. What are those themes that you will lean on and lean into in the next 3 to 5 years? Also take a look at, as another element, your foundational elements, which are the belief statements, the mission statement, and the vision statement. And then lastly, we would work on some draft goals and objectives for your strategic plan. So again, your committee would be advisory to the process. And then in between meetings and beyond those meetings, I would be working with your superintendent and a writing team to get those final tweaks to the strategic plan. Now, our plan is what we call a plan on a page. So on one side of the plan, or on one side of the page, it will have your beliefs, your mission, and your vision, along with just the names of the focus areas. And then the second page will have your focus areas, the goals, and the objectives. So it's really a tool that is the big picture for you as board members. It is also easy to read. It's kind of an at a glance, and it's also great for stakeholders who want to take a look at your strategic plan. They can see what those goals are that are laid out for the next 3 to 5 years, along with the objectives. And then there's another document that I provide your superintendent, which actually includes the action steps, because your superintendent is the one that will be managing and carrying out the work of the strategic plan. The process is approximately 12 to 14 weeks, and that actually includes from the time that we start working on the surveys, getting the surveys out into the community, and then time for the listening sessions and the 3 strategic planning committee meetings. So once things really ramp up with the listening sessions, we actually meet about every other week. So if we met this week and did the listening sessions, we'd skip a week and then come back together for the first strategic planning committee meeting, skip a week, do the second meeting, skip a week, and then the third meeting. And the last part of what we include in our strategic planning process is a goal alignment. So it's a session that I would do with your board team, board and superintendent team. We would use it as an opportunity to review the strategic planning process, and then we'd also incorporate the school board self-evaluation so that we could look at goal setting for you as a board team, and then aligning the goals of your strategic plan to your board goals over the next, again, 3 to 5 years. I'm going to pause for a second and ask what questions you might have at this point. Anything you're wondering about? Anything that was confusing and how I shared it with you?
I have a question. Sorry.
Okay.
You had mentioned the community stakeholders. About how many community stakeholders would be involved in, like, would it be like in a room like this size? Would we do it in like the school auditorium? Just that community stakeholder piece, because I think that's an important piece, and I just kind of want to know the quantity of people.
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked that question. So the strategic planning, well, there's 2 parts to that, actually. So with the listening sessions are very, very inclusive. So there you would have, it would just really be open-ended with the number of students that would participate in the listening session, number of staff, number of community members, and number of administrators. And then for the strategic planning committee, that would be a little more exclusive, in the fact that I would be asking you to identify for your committee somewhere between 25 up to 40. And it really depends upon how many people you'd like on that strategic planning committee, with the idea that you'd probably have 4 to 6 students, 4 to 6 staff, 4 to 6 community members, a cross-section of your administrative team, and then all of you as board members, and of course your superintendent would be a part of that. So you really could set the tone on how large your committee is, and you actually can have a lot of say into how many people participate in the listening sessions as well.
And then
Does that help?
Yeah, that completely helped. And then the commitment level for that group would be the 12 to 14 weeks as well, or would it be condensed or specific to whatever their needs were? I guess I'm trying to figure that, like, students, when you mentioned 4 to 6 students, would it be the full process for them, or would it just be targeted and strategic specifically to them?
So if the students who are going to be on the strategic planning committee, we'd want them to participate in a listening session too. Same with the staff, same with the community members. So commitment would be attending the listening session at the beginning, and then it would be the 3 strategic planning committee meetings that they'd be looking at. The listening sessions are usually 45 minutes to 1 hour, and the strategic planning committee meetings are usually about 2 hours in length. And then as far as the overall time length, it wouldn't be the 12 to 14 weeks. It would probably be about 8 weeks that they would be committed, with a meeting, one meeting every other week. Other questions, other things I can clarify for you?
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else with questions that I might answer?
I have a question about the board self-evaluation.
Yes.
We did that a few years ago.
Mhm.
Is it a cost to that? Is that above this?
So if it's a standalone, yes, there is a cost, but no, I actually include that in the cost of strategic planning. So that's just part of the package. It brings you as a board really full circle in setting that tone of self-assessment, and then setting goals and tying your goals of your new strategic plan to your goals. So that's a good question. Other things that you're wondering about?
I guess I have a question. Just a really quick one. When would it start then? I mean, like if we approved it and all of that, what is the timeline that we would start?
When your superintendent and board chair and I visited about a month or so ago, we talked about that, and there were some things that they were considering in the timing of this, what would make the most sense. And at that time, we were talking about over this upcoming summer, so starting doing a June, July, and August. And I guess I'll let your chair and superintendent fill in a little bit what they were thinking. I think there were some other activities you're working on that made it seem like timing for that would make a lot of sense for the group.
Jump in there. Well, another piece of it, if I don't want to misspeak, but also with MSBA's timing, you're pretty solid until the spring.
Correct.
And
Yep.
so we had also considered that factor, but we had talked about maybe starting with the survey piece of it even in May. Because with other processes that we have in other committees, for example, our facilities committee and different things that we're looking at as a district, we want to be intentional with when we are asking for input and feedback, and we think it would be really helpful for us to be intentional with when we're planning these listening sessions versus other information we're going to need to get from the community as well.
I guess I'm just thinking about like summer is a time when there's a lot of people gone, and so I'm just wondering, like especially students, like how we get like that kind of commitment at that point. So
We'll have to be intentional with that.
And actually, I'll just chime in on that too. When the committee members know that they're going to be a part of the process, they seem to just set that time aside. And actually, summers have worked better for students, especially because during the school year, they're tied up with a lot of their activities. And so summer, it's a little bit different. Then it might be a summer job, but they usually are able to schedule that in.
okay, thank you.
I have a question then as it relates to this. So student engagement, but what if we're looking for teacher engagement in the summer? What would that look like? And what would that expectation be?
I think it would look the same. Again, I think the people that volunteer to be a part of these processes have that intrinsic motivation to do that, and they make that happen. I think about our staff, and I know that we have so many that would really want to be a part of our listening session and things. So we have teachers that I know would want to be a part of this. It's a really good question.
The other thing I've found that staff have been happy about is when it is in the summer, they make that commitment. And as compared to the school year, their minds are sort of on what's happened during the school day and preparing for the next day. So there's just a much more relaxed atmosphere, it seems like, with the summer months.
And if I can add, we would want to have a teacher representation on our staff. I would imagine we'll have clerical staff, custodial staff, staff, that we would want to have participate.
Anything else that I can help answer
Renee,
or any concerns?
I just wanted to follow up on something Renee said that just, so from that staff perspective, I thought it was 4 to 6 staff. So are you talking the staff involvement? And I'm not trying to say they shouldn't be, because they absolutely should be, but is that more of the surveying piece of it? Because I feel like we would need more than 4 to 6 staff if we're talking, you know, the everybody you mentioned.
Yeah,
I don't know.
on Yale for the recommendation on that, and I know that, Yale has a good idea of what we should be looking for. But my
Right.
understanding is that the listening sessions were open to many, many people. But
Mhm.
when it drills down into the committee work, those 3 meetings that are, potentially 2 hours in length, that's where we're more specific to the recommendation of.
Thank you. That's
Right.
where I just I wasn't connecting the dots between the listening session and then the start. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, you are correct with that. And with the surveys, you can just push those out to as many people as you want. Students are encouraged and welcome to take the surveys as well. And so that they can do on their own time. And it doesn't take a lot of time to take it either, just probably 10 minutes at the most.
Will the surveys be done online or will they be done mailed out?
The surveys are available online. We provide the links for those. We also provide a hard copy in the event that there is someone who has some challenge that using the online is not an option for them. We can also make the surveys available in languages too for the audiences that are represented in your school district. But the majority of the surveys would be taken online. It's in SurveyMonkey.
Thank you.
Gail, would you mind speaking to what the cost would be?
Yes, and I hope the last question, if it was directed towards me, I was not able to hear that, but the cost is $14,300. And that would include all the activities that I shared. I would do all the reports, and I also have a toolkit that I provide your superintendent in administering the parts of the strategic plan, which includes news releases, letters of invitation for listening sessions, letters of invitation to strategic planning committee members, the surveys, the survey links, some social media samples that can be used to promote the process, the meeting postings, the meeting agendas for that posting, and even a resolution to adopt the strategic plan at the end of the process. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Oh,
Mike, hi, Gail. Gail,
Oh,
my
okay.
question was, by next spring, we may possibly be meeting in person more. So what are your thoughts on the virtual versus in-person meetings?
At this point, we are doing all of our strategic planning services virtually, and I don't know that that's going to change a lot, especially the listening sessions. But as we move to that time period, we can take a look at that and maybe we could do some in person and some virtually. I've actually found that the attendance has been much better doing these virtually. It just seems like people have that option. They can do a hybrid. So I'm virtual and everybody else can be in person and I facilitate from there, or I'm virtual and whoever wants to be virtual can do that with me, and some can be in person, or everyone actually could be virtual. So the other school districts have really appreciated the options with that.
Do you find that you have a lot of good conversation and engagement with your community members, your staff, and your students when you have a virtual meeting?
I do feel that we have had good success with that. If it's a larger group, we'll break them into breakout rooms, and then I'll pop in, teach room, do some checking. Usually I will, for recorders or facilitators, just like if I were in person, I would ask one of the administrators to facilitate the conversation. I'd set the ground rules of what they're going to be talking about. But yeah, the breakout rooms seem to work well. And then if it's a smaller group for some reason, we can visit as a large group and give folks the opportunity. I usually go around and I'll say, well, let's hear from those of you that are community members. How about from the students? And so just really try to gather feedback and encourage participation in that way.
Anything else for Gail? Okay, well, thank you very much, Gail, for spending the last half hour with us, and have a good evening. Good luck with your next presentation.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, and you have a good rest of your evening, a good Thanksgiving holiday, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. Take care, everybody.
You too. Thanks, Gail.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Gail. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and our next item is the Food Service Department updates.
So, Chair Polly, members of the board, I am so excited to have our leadership from our food service department here this evening. Food service has been one of the joyful parts of the school year that I've had, and it's been really exciting to see some of transformations and some of the unique things that this team has put in place for our kids. One of my superintendent goals that, if I shared with the board this last year was, let's take a closer look at food service. Let's take a look at all aspects of it, engagement of the students, what we're doing in terms of quality, scratch-made food, all of those components, and then of course the financial piece of it. If you remember correctly last year, we needed to take some steps to address the fund balance of the food service, because in Minnesota we cannot carry negative balance in our general fund reimbursed area this last school year. We were on that trajectory again, really most of the spring this last year, and then things shifted a little bit. And so I felt it was really important for you to have an idea of where we're at now with our food service fund balance, what that's looking like, and then some of the unique things that have shifted within the department. We have Kelly Racer here, who's our director of food service. We also have Amy Hankerman, and I'm going to let them introduce the rest of the team. But maybe you want me to start.
Good evening. So our audit is pretty much done, so I'm just going to give you a recap of the food service department. So the food service actual revenue for fiscal year 21 was $842,828. The actual expenditures were $848,448, which it resulted in a net loss of $5,620, but that's far better than the $31,000 net loss that was projected when I brought the revised budget forward in February or March. So now I'm going to recap. So the revenues were $84,902 over the projected budget. This resulted because starting in February, we had all the students in school all day, every day. They started a grab and go breakfast at the elementary school, which brought in a lot more students to eating breakfast. I think they kind of gave them the bags of food when they came in the door. And so total breakfast served in fiscal year 21 was 36,502. Total lunches served were 134,360. And so that resulted in federal revenue of $660,000. And that's just from the free lunch and the free breakfast. The remainder of the revenue that was in the food service department came from a la carte because we were able to sell our a la carte items again, and that was about $73,000. And then also just the commodities report that we get from MDE at the year end. So expenditures were $59,292 over the projected budget. The overage was in food, supplies, and salaries. We all know food costs went up. That resulted in a lot. So after our audit that you'll hear given in December, the food service department actually ended up with a positive fund balance of $15,440. And that just has to play in, yep, they had a net loss of $5,000, but there's audit entries, there's your inventory that gets put back into last year, and so it's just audit entries. But the budget changes are from the increase in breakfast and lunch served when all students were back in school. So now going forward, so this year we are in free breakfast and free lunches. So we have this, and it's known to MDE, so we are in the seamless summer option. That's how we get our reimbursement. So for breakfast, we get a reimbursement of $2.4625 for each breakfast we serve. And lunch, we get $4.3175 for breakfast. And I think now Kelly's up.
Hello. For those of you I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Kelly Razor. I've known some of you for a very long time now. I'm going to say how old I am. I'm not going to go there, but I'm excited to meet those of you I have not had the opportunity to meet yet. This is seriously a dream job for me right now, and I am working with some of the most amazing people. So while I get to stand up here and smile and take some credit, it's not me. It's not me doing the work, so I could not be doing it without them. I will introduce them when they come back. So some of the changes we have made, as you all know, we're facing a lot of challenges with supply chain. One of the biggest things that was important to us from the get-go was simplifying our menu. Each kitchen then has the opportunity to kind of tailor the menu to their students. So when you look at the menu as a parent at home and you have kids in different schools, it's easier for you, right? Because you see one entree is being served at all three schools. But then maybe at one school we'll have French fries, one school we might have mashed potatoes, and another school's tater tots, basically because we don't really know what we're getting. When our order comes every Monday, it's kind of a surprise, so that's fun. Another thing we're working on is more variety in fresh fruits and scratch-made salads and other foods. I will let you guys go ahead and pass those out. So Stacy is going to be passing out some plates. We do have some samples for you guys this evening, so I hope you're hungry. We'll get into what everything is on your plate here in just a moment.
I know. Nice.
So most of you probably recognize Deb. She is our manager at the high school. Stacy is our brand new manager at the elementary school this year. And then Miss Maya, she will be back in a moment. She is our brand new manager at the middle school this year. So you'll see there you have a little menu this evening with does list the things that we're going to be bringing by for you. So as Amy mentioned, I was at home sick this past January, and I was laying in bed thinking about breakfast and these reimbursable meals. And from an elementary standpoint, I thought, why are we not giving these kids breakfast as they come in the door each morning? They're fully reimbursable. It's going to give them something to do in the morning instead of having trouble that they might be finding in their classroom while their teacher's trying to prepare for the morning. So that's kind of how Grab and Go was born within our district. When I took over as nutritional services director, I quickly implemented Grab and Go breakfast at each school, seeing the success we had with it at the elementary school. We really, and again, it goes back to tailoring our menu to meet each school. Grab and Go doesn't work the same at each school. We know high school students don't want to eat breakfast at 7:30 in the morning when they get to school. So I worked with Jeff and I worked with Deb, and what we came up with there was we serve breakfast. It's a Grab and Go breakfast option, but it's right before SNAP. If you ever want to see chaos, you talk about 200 kids coming to grab a bag within 4 minutes. Those kids go nuts over this breakfast. So we hit the nail on the head pretty quickly with that one. We're still trying to work through the middle school and elementary school to see exactly what's working best. We know it's working well, but we're trying to make it even better. Starting this, actually this Wednesday at the middle school. So the first thing that you'll see on the top of your menu there is a smoothie bowl. So in addition to Grab and Go breakfast, and in addition to breakfast in the cafeteria, Maya's going to be working on an interactive breakfast with the students at the middle school each morning. So one of the things she's come up with is a smoothie bowl. So we have a berry version or a tropical version. And then all of the accompaniments on your plate there. So we have chocolate chips, we have shredded coconut, granola, and then we have a dried sunflower seed and strawberry mixture, and then some fresh berries there too. So Maya will be working with the kids to kind of create their own smoothie bowl, talking about the health benefits, talking about appropriate serving sizes, so on and so forth. To give you an example of the success at the high school breakfast, the high school went from an average of 15 breakfasts per day prior to Grab and Go, and they are now averaging 200 plus per day. Another thing we've really been working on is the presentation of the food. I truly believe you eat with your eyes before you eat with your mouth. We want to walk in and we want to see appealing meals. We want to see color. We want to see garnishes. No more brown lunches. We've switched to black shirts. Deb, you want to Vanna White your shirt for us there real quick? Trying to take the focus off of the food, off of the staff and put it onto the colorful food. So I think the next thing she passed out there for you was our cheeseburger salad. If you want to get a middle school boy to eat salad, this is how. Yeah, they absolutely love it. Throw some pickles in there and some hamburger. Yeah. Another thing we're working on is more interactive meals. So just like the smoothie bowl at breakfast, we're doing more interactive meals at lunch. For example, coming up next Monday is a build your own mac and cheese day. So all three schools will be doing mac and cheese, and then depending on which school, they'll be offering different proteins to add into that, as well as tomatoes, jalapenos, black olives, whatever the kids want.
This is like a Big Mac salad.
Yes.
That's like healthy for you. I make that. I'm not going to say I make it. I'm going to say I'm going to try to make it at home. And it doesn't taste as good as this one. Because this one tastes
She does
good.
a great job.
So, but this, my kids would eat, oh, yeah, this is awesome.
So, and to be honest with you, this is what we're doing with a lot of our leftovers. So these aren't necessarily things we're ordering in.
God, this is so good.
This is hamburger that was possibly cooked the day before that we're reusing for a salad the next day. So it's giving us an opportunity to use food that wouldn't be used otherwise, getting the kids excited about trying something new.
I can't decide what I want to eat next. And I'm hungry, so I'm so happy that it's here.
So I believe you also have a pizza pasta salad sitting there in front of you. A little bit of diced pepperoni, Italian dressing, Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, black olives. That one's been a big hit as well.
Thank you.
Hope, do you mind going on to slide 8?
I like to take pictures of the food.
Thank you. We've been doing a lot of that. So this is a typical setup for a taco bar or salad bar each day. We do serve a lot of the same condiments or accompaniments with different meals. Kids love jalapenos, they love black olives, they love tomatoes, pico, cheese. You give those things to them every day, and it turns a regular old chicken patty into something different for them that, maybe they didn't have last time. We've even been offering buffalo sauce to the kids if they want to try that with their chicken patty. This is a homemade corn salsa made at our high school just a couple of weeks ago. This is another picture of our awesome cheeseburger salad. And this was yogurt that was on the menu last week. So again, going back to making the food look visually appealing to the kids. They want to come in, they want to see it look nice. It's truly important to us that we make sure we do that and we refresh between each grade coming in as well. All right, so while the food is wonderful and those have been some very exciting changes for us, to be honest with you, that wasn't my number one priority. My number one priority is changing the culture and the atmosphere in the kitchen. I debated on sharing this with you, but about 10 years ago, I was out for a walk with a girlfriend of mine, and my son, who is my oldest, came home and he said, "Mom, the lunch lady was mean to me today." And I was like, yeah, that's not cool. He was in kindergarten. My kids are very meek and mild and quiet and not much like me. But and it broke my heart. And I would come in and have lunch with him, and it just wasn't the environment that I had hoped for. Not that they weren't doing great things, but I wanted more. So I kind of made it my goal at that point to get my foot in the door when I was ready to, and here I am. I believe it's not just about the food we're serving them, it's about how they feel when they come into the cafeteria. We need to know their names. We need to know their likes, their dislikes. We need to know who their friends are, why they're excited to come to lunch, how we can make lunch and breakfast the highlight of their day. So, at the elementary school, if you've been there in the last couple of weeks, you may have met Norman. Norman doesn't fit on the screen. Oh, there he is. So, this is just a fun thing that we have implemented at the elementary school. Norman is a monkey. When he comes, he brings bananas. The kids think this is the most amazing thing in the world. I did not know fourth graders would get as excited about it as they did. We brought him out one day, and the kids are all like, "Why is there a monkey in here? This is really weird. Why is there a palm tree with the Thanksgiving decorations?" We're like, we don't know. We don't know. He came, he brought bananas. There's bananas today. So he came back last week, and I just happened to be there that day. I cannot tell you the number of kids jumping up and down when they came into the lunchroom because they saw Norman. You can't explain it. So another thing that we're closely watching, in addition to the culture and the food in our kitchen, is our labor. I would be lying if I told you my kitchen doesn't feel short-staffed at times, that this year hasn't been hard. This year has had a lot of challenges, just with food supply, and also I've been making a lot of changes. I can be a little bit impatient, and I can also be a little bit crazy at times. They will definitely attest to that. So we've really been working on watching our labor hours and explaining to the staff exactly what that means and why we're watching it. So prior to this year, we were running a meals per labor hour of 14. 18 is a good number. You want a higher number, and we are currently running at a 21. It feels like a good balance. I know there's days that have been hard, but we have definitely made things more efficient as well. That has saved some of our labor, too. So, this is my favorite slide. This gives a really good example of last April, which had 19 days with all students in school, very, very similar to this past October with 19 days with all students in school as well. You can see our total revenue in April was $95,399. And with the changes we have been implementing, our revenue in October was $130,243. So we're really trying to take advantage of the free meals while we can, get the kids excited about the food now so that when and if meals do come back at a charge, hopefully we have got them to a point that they are excited enough to participate and continue to do so. Does anybody have any questions? So I do want to say one more thing, because if you're not thinking it, you might be thinking it later. Is there an additional cost to some of the stuff we're doing, right? We're offering more salads, we're offering more fresh fruit, we're offering more fresh vegetables. There definitely is. We are watching that closely as well. We're watching to make sure that we're ordering the appropriate amount of stuff, that we are not wasting stuff. But we truly believe, too, to get their participation, we need to make meals appealing to them that they are going to be excited for.
I agree. Are you concerned about the increase in costs of food that we're all experiencing?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Amy and I were discussing this too. And yeah, some of the times when we get a substitution because a product we typically order is out, we are given a much higher cost substitution. So we'll play with that as it comes along, but yeah, it definitely is a factor, unfortunately. Yeah, go ahead.
We're also tracking the revenue and expenditures really closely, more closely by month, so we can see where we're at. It just gives me a little better as to where the budget's at. We're just watching it really close, especially with the increase in prices. And I kind of wish Kelly would have done this in December, because we all know audit and truth and taxation is not any fun. This might just have lightened the mood a little bit.
Well, these numbers are really impressive, and just thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you to you and your staff.
Yeah, they're amazing. You were gone. You're amazing. We talked about you. That's Maya.
Have to pass that on to the rest of the staff.
Yes,
for our
absolutely, we will.
appreciation.
Yeah, we are very, very, honestly, I don't know how I got this lucky. I truly mean that. So we are very thankful. I know there's districts out there with 20, 30 openings in food service. We are fully staffed. So we are very fortunate. Good.
I know. I'm going to say, it's so good. I'm still.
I'm glad.
Between the pasta salad.
Awesome.
Is this like macaroni and cheese? It's
Chicken Alfredo. Oh, yeah, I apologize. I didn't go over that. Chicken Alfredo, that was on the menu last week. Yeah,
It's so good. It is very good.
Good.
Everything is so yummy.
good. Thank you very much for that.
Well, and I just want to say, when we moved here, part of the reason we moved here was because of food service, because at that point, everything was being made from scratch, everything was being made on site, and we kind of moved away from that over the years, and that has been a disappointment to me, so I really appreciate you bringing all of that back.
Thank you.
It's amazing. So
We're doing our
the
best.
food speaks to it. I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
so good.
If you are done with those, we do have one more round of samples. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, I didn't realize you had dessert. Oh, you guys have to talk about your desserts real quick. I'm sorry.
I was
Okay.
afraid I'm not done eating. You made me
I
want
didn't
more.
realize they were out here. I must have been blabbing too much. Miss Maya, do you want to talk about yours?
You gotta go to the. you
Not
have to
basic.
Come up to the.
Up to the mic.
It's just your basic brownie with some powdered sugar on it. Figured it's a quick, fast, easy treat that's easy to make in bulk, but it's still homemade. It's all made in-house, and it's our Thanksgiving dessert that we're going to use tomorrow for lunch.
I love those too. So that's actually going to be served at the middle school and elementary school. One of the challenges we face, as most of you know, is the elementary kitchen is not exactly great for scratch cooking. So Maya has been helping out, and of course Deb has been helping for years with some of the meats and some salads as well too.
Kelly, because I think we were all super excited about all the yummy samples, some of them might have missed the unique thing you're trying at the middle school with.
The interactive breakfast. Yeah, I would love to. So again, Maya is going to be, she's being a little shy tonight. This girl is not shy. She has quite the personality, which is another reason why we've chosen the middle school as to where we're going to be doing this. So we will still be having grab and go at the door, and then we will still be offering breakfast in the kitchen at the middle school. But because the middle school students spend so much time in the commons in the morning, And Maya has the personality. I keep saying she's going to get out there and like Benihana breakfast. She is going to be putting on a show for those kids. It's going to start out slow, but it is going to be more of an interactive breakfast. 1 to 2 days a week, we'll gauge participation. But some things we have in mind are the smoothie bowls that you just tried. Another thing she's going to be doing are like build your own pancakes with different toppings. We talked about doing oatmeal one morning, and then even made to order eggs. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. And it's going to be an educational experience for the students as well as breakfast. So yeah, they'll have 3 different options then. So plus they're out there for about 20 minutes, which should give them enough time to get to experience it. If we get there, I know we're doing something right. All right, Deb, your turn. I'm going to put you on the spot. Deb made the other dessert on your plate there. This is why they hate me. I make them get uncomfortable.
Okay, we had to come up with a Thanksgiving dessert, and we couldn't get pumpkin. So I'm just thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. So I finally came up with spice cake. So I made it this morning, and I frosted it, and I put little sprinkles on it, and I have, when I cut it up, I have the little, to put it on there, so that's what they will get tomorrow. Thank you.
Way to think outside the box, ladies. I mean, good.
There's been a lot of that going on. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so then that's why when the menu says Thanksgiving dessert, we're leaving it up to the kitchens to do what they think is best for their students. And again, kind of what we don't know a month in advance if we're going to be able to get pumpkin, unfortunately.
So when you first started talking, you mentioned something about staff morale being one of your main objectives and goals. So I'm just going to ask the staff, how has morale been with these changes? Would you care to comment?
I'm watching you.
Well, don't do that. But are you enjoying?
They know you guys, they totally know I'm kidding. Yeah, we agreed that change, good or bad, is hard. So even when, I told them, hey, you don't have to cup up fruit anymore because we were opening cans of fruit and spending hours a day cupping it, and now we serve it in bulk and let the kids serve themselves. They kind of fought me on it a little bit. There was some, but then once they realized, wow, this is much, much easier. So it's been hard, but we've definitely gotten to a better place.
I cannot believe how good this is, you guys. I didn't have dinner today, so
I know. You're always going to have a little. Unfortunately, it's just a struggle. I know at the high school, they don't even take a lunch count. Not many high schools do. It just seems to kind of work, and Deb really does have it down to a science. So there is a little bit of food waste in each school. It's just inevitable. But I would say we have decreased it quite a bit this year. That's also kind of the luxury of being a little bit more vague on our menu. If we run out of one kind of potato, we grab the next one. We're making it so, it's food they're going to like, but we're not necessarily putting green beans on the menu, so we're not tied down to green beans. Fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, fresh bread, breakfast potato. That's the verbiage you'll see.
I think Kelly would say that there's less waste because you're doing so many scratch-made things, you're able to
Yeah,
make
definitely.
pasta salad with
Yeah, most of the stuff we're putting on the salad bar with the exception, or our garden bar, I should say, with the exception of the fresh fruits and vegetables, is stuff that we're able to reuse from previous meals or stuff we ordered for a previous meal and didn't use at that time. Which is really nice at the elementary where you don't have room to store much food, so helps get it out of their freezer too. It's fun. We are still hiring for subs, though, if any of you are looking. No, it's great. We're having a lot of fun. It's been a great school year for us so far. So that's one of our new smoothie bowls. That is a berry smoothie bowl, and then all of the toppings there for it. Yeah.
So have we had the smoothie bowl on the menu?
No, so this will just be an interactive breakfast item at this time. Yeah, we don't have the ability to make more than like 30 or 40 of them at a time right now. So maybe further down the line, yeah.
So when you say it's an interactive item, it's served at the high school as part of a grab and go? How does that work?
So this will be Maya's interactive breakfast in the middle school commons in the morning.
What's it going to take to get it to the high school? I'm sorry.
We'll work on it. Seriously, I'm not kidding you. I was over at the high school for the first time for grab and go in a couple of weeks this morning, and Barb, I love her. She says, you take that into the hall and I'll take this into the hall. I'm like, what am I preparing for right now? And these kids are so excited to come grab these bags. And yeah, it's a quick 4 minutes and 200 bags go just like that. And they're excited, they're grateful. We did well with that one.
Thank you to you and
Thank
your
you.
staff. Just amazing changes.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
And yes, thank you very much. And wonderful food.
Hey, anytime, anytime. All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Kelly. I ate all of it, you guys. Like all of it, you guys. I ate it all.
I'm taking the rest of mine home with me. I'm a slow eater. And with that,